Going live. Oh, we're live.
Hey, what's up, y'all? We are live.
How you doing,
Live.
ladies and gentlemen? This is Steve from Steve's Talks and Nerd Talk. I'm here with Brian J from Brian J's Nerd Talk.
Okay, I think we got everything settled. Everything here with the
Wow.
cameras.
Talk about a highway murder on the go. Coughing. Fun fact: 1 out of 12 people die from coughing.
1 out of 12 people. That's true.
I'm not sure if the statistics have changed again, considering the fact that statistic is just whatever.
What a way to open the show.
Right? Anyways, how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? How you doing?
Great news. Microsoft and Activision extended their deadline. Microsoft. Don't call it. I mean, it's Xbox, but
it's a subsidiary division.
The CEO of Microsoft is putting this together with Phil Spencer being the face of everything since he runs Xbox.
Mind you,
this is a career-defining acquisition for him.
No. It's not the career.
It is a career.
Well, for the video game industry, yes.
No. For Phil Spencer, if this deal goes through, which it most likely will, this is a career-defining thing for Phil Spencer. They're going to make documentaries and movies about him. Okay,
ladies and gentlemen, they're going to make movies.
Yeah.
And documentaries, TV shows and movies.
All about this.
We will never watch documentaries. Why? Because why watch a documentary when you can just take 5 minutes online on your phone?
Like the GameStop movie that's coming out this year, they're going to do it. It's going to
come
out. Yeah.
I thought that canceled that.
Wait, you didn't know the GameStop movie's coming out this year? Yeah,
no,
it's got to release it. I saw the trailer in IMAX. It was really good. I liked it. It was good. It was all true. It was all based on everything that happened.
I wonder.
And I like the actor they got playing the guy that did the stocks with the Wall Street and basically saved GameStop for a couple of years because GameStop is going to go under now. It's going to go out of business, but he basically kept it around for a lot longer. And they got. I forgot the middle guy's name, but they got Paul Dano playing him. So that's great. I like the cast they got. Let me look at the name of the movie. I'm going to find Paul Dano. I'm going to look up the whole cast. And Paul Dano's a really good actor. He's not a great actor, but he's good. He's really good.
Well, all right.
Dumb Money. That's what it's called.
Dumb
Money. That's the name of it. It's a David versus Goliath story. There's one guy just going up against Wall Street. And these guys at Wall Street lost billions of dollars because of this guy. Billions. Because they were betting money on GameStop going out of business. And this guy bought the stock and he got other people to do it. And he made millions and millions and millions of dollars while they lost billions. But the cast...
Oh, is that based off the recent Wall Street collapse that they were betting against GameStop and people were buying into it, rose the price?
Yeah, so they got.
Mind you, those were fantastic.
Yeah, Paul Dano.
Keith
Gill. That's the guy's name.
Wall Street a black guy.
Keith Gill. That's the guy's name. Paul Dano's playing Keith Gill. The actress is Shailene Woodley playing Caroline Gill, which is great. They also got another good actress who I love, America Ferrera. She's playing Jenny Campbell, and America Ferrera's a really good actress. Who else? They got another actress here that I know.
Well, that's the top cast you're looking at, so it's going to be the top. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to talk to you about the Microsoft Xbox ABK acquisition, the deadline extension, and the CMA getting into talks with Microsoft about agreeing to any form of concessions in which it'll be approved in the UK. Congratulations to our... if it does, it'll be congratulations to the UK gamers of Xbox. Mind you, the CMA... In from an outside perspective, was very rushed in trying to block this deal, just like the FTC, which took a very huge loss. And if they pursue another court trial case or something, I'm hoping that Lina Khan is
she's got to go.
She expelled.
If I was Joe Biden, I would get rid of her. Like she was appointed by Joe Biden to run the FTC, and she's against big tech. She's against the fact that they're trying to buy other companies. She's 0-4
service for customers.
She's 0-4 in 4 different cases. She's lost 0-4 in all the cases. She's lost all 4 of the cases, and it was a Joe Biden appointed judge.
Trump or Joe Biden?
No, it was a Joe Biden. The judge that ruled against her, that ruled in favor of Microsoft, was appointed by Joe Biden and is a Democrat. And even she saw that the FTC's argument was shit and that Sony's arguments were shit. And ironically, and this is kind of like poetic justice, she ruled in favor of Microsoft because of PlayStation buying out Final Fantasy 16 to be exclusive on the PlayStation 5. That is just hilarious.
Mind you, this is Sony's own doing, and it's not to say that Sony, that as we know it from Japan, this is with the American leadership, the American think tanks, and all their corporate underlings that work on the American side, have now put Sony in a very bad light.
Yeah,
Sony Japan should really split their Western headquarters here in California and take it back to Japan, because it's clear as day.
Well,
it's clear as
Jim
day.
Ryan would probably have to be gone by the end of the year.
No, I'm sure he's gonna be gone. I'm sure Sony Interactive Entertainment, SIE Japan, which
the only thing
is the headquarters, is looking at Jim Ryan thinking, this man has now caused us a huge blunder in public and embarrassment, and has exposed way too many corporate dealings.
And stocks being down too.
And our stocks
and
are
as well
going
as
down.
personal information, like how much The Last of Us Part 2 and Horizon Forbidden West cost. Both those games cost $200 million.
Mind you. There is no business that is okay with sharing confidential information about business practices, developments, and
budgets,
projects.
which they did not want to be out
let
in
alone
public.
how much is allocated to X project or Y project.
The only thing that could keep Jim Ryan in Sony, the only thing that can save his job, really, is the fact that he bought Bungie, and Bungie has been a huge moneymaker for Sony in the West and Sony in general, because of how much money they're making in microtransactions on Destiny 2.
I'm going to say this now.
And of course, they got Marathon coming out, which is going to be complete microtransaction hell.
Yeah,
that's
so
the only thing.
If you're a whale, if you're a dolphin,
if
or
you're
a whale,
super rich,
if you're one of the top 1% of the 10% of the 1% of the 1% of the 5% of the 1%,
yeah,
whatever percent of the top super rich, that game's for you. That game is made for you.
Yeah. So, and he's bringing Marathon to make it a microtransaction hell as well. So
and
that's the only thing. That's the only thing.
Multiplayer too.
That's the only thing that could save Jim Ryan's career at this point.
I don't think so.
But that's it. So if he's not out of a job by the end of the year or sometime next year,
or next
that'll
month.
be the only reason. Other than that, I mean, I don't see him being let go, because I don't know anybody that they have to replace him on the spot.
Well,
unless they want to bring back the original guy, which would be fine. Sean Lane, yeah, they could bring him back.
Sean Lane,
but does Sean Lane want to deal with those people ever again? I don't know. So,
well, the thing with Sean Layden is that Sean Layden was a great leader for PlayStation,
and he was too pro-consumer for Sony's liking. That was the problem. That's why they got rid of it, because he was greenlighting indie games that cost money but didn't have a big audience, and that's why they got rid of him.
Well, no, but the thing with Sean Layden was that Sean Layden understood the market for PlayStation's audience.
But the people that he was working for didn't like the results.
No, unfortunately, no. But however, if they do bring back Sean Layden would course correct where PlayStation's going right now.
Yeah, it was horrible. But go ahead. Sorry, I'm talking too loud. She's on the phone. But go ahead.
But Sean Layden would course correct the path that Sony is on. PlayStation is going towards the route of, we're going to be the console exclusives for pay-to-win games. And Sean Layden would reverse that course immediately, allow for more desired games to come back. I'm in the hope or the belief that he would even reverse the censorship policy that Sony has suddenly taken, that no one's even explained on, let alone has discussed with the consumers and developers. These developers are told, you have to censor for modern audience. Mind you, modern audience is just a phrase that is being thrown around left and right to justify changing a franchise for political beliefs rather than actual financial, let alone corporate reasons. Modern audiences don't exist. They exist on Twitter. That's all they exist on. They are the loudest on Twitter. They don't do much. I don't think they buy any games. I don't believe they buy games or even spend money on games. But anyways,
Olivia Thirlby, that's her name. Olivia Thirlby. She is, I think, in Dumb Money.
It took them that long to find Olivia Thirlby.
I can't find her name. Is she even in the damn movie?
Probably not.
Apparently not. What the hell?
Anyways,
I guess she's not in the movie. I thought that was her.
Anyways, ladies and
That
gentlemen.
looked like her.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna skip something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Microsoft was approved by the Ninth Circuit Appeals District, the Ninth Circuit District Court of Appeals, to continue with the acquisition. Now, because of the fact that the acquisition is something that they can close on by the 18th, or they could have closed on by the 18th, they chose to extend the deadline. This allows them the opportunity to negotiate with the CMA consider the fact that
the CMA is rolling back on everything. They're rolling back on all their complaints. Microsoft says they're going to sell a portion of their cloud gaming service to another company in the UK to manage as well, to show that they're not completely trying to control the whole market of cloud gaming to get the deal going through. See, that's the thing. Microsoft could have just powered through and get the deal done by Tuesday, but they wanted to do things in the right way and negotiate with the CMA, since the CMA is more open now. And so they're going to negotiate the CMA. And Bobby Kotick at Activision Blizzard King said that the deal can go through in about 45 days. In about 45 days, the deal will go through.
So understand this. The reason that Microsoft, the reason that Microsoft Xbox.
Oh, and the gamer lawsuit got shut down by the Supreme Court. Their gamers are doing a lawsuit to prevent Microsoft from owning Activision Blizzard that got shut down earlier this morning by the Supreme Court.
Mind you, this was also the same lawsuit that was turned down by the judge that was overseeing the case between the FTC and Xbox.
And it was really stupid because
it was a bunch of so-called gamers.
Because the Supreme Court is mostly conservative and Republican, and now that the Supreme Court really does know that the woman in charge of the FTC was really appointed by Joe Biden, the Democrats in the House are trying to make an entire issue about January 6th. I'm like, look, what happened on January 6th was terrible, and all those guys deserve to go to prison. I get that. But the whole hearing with the FTC that happened on Wednesday, the Democrats, and I listened to the whole thing, it was like 4 hours long. The Democrats kept trying to make everything about January 6th and racism and about some of the racist idiots who are Republicans in the House. I'm like, you're not sticking to the topic here. The FTC has gone 0-4 in these lawsuits. She's wasted taxpayers' money and trying to stop Microsoft from acquiring Activision Blizzard. And not only that, the judge that ruled against her and ruled in favor of Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard was a Joe Biden appointed judge. So I don't know why there are these Democrats spending 5-10 minutes, one, talking about race and identity politics. Two, they were talking about January 6th and Donald Trump, and one of them talking about Matt Gaetz being a sex trafficker and a pedophile, which I think is true. But beyond that, it's like, what's that have to do?
Thoughts are not proven. Thoughts are only for
no, but I mean, there's plenty of evidence for a lot of the stuff that they're complaining about. But what I'm saying is that what does Matt Gaetz and January 6th and what was the other one? Identity politics having to do with the FTC fumbling the ball in the bag 4 times in a row.
Well, they're not playing football. If they were playing football, they would suck. I would root against every other team.
They would not score a touchdown. They would not even score a touchdown at all.
They wouldn't even catch the ball.
They wouldn't even catch the ball. It was just crazy. And they were just trying to change the topic to all that. But luckily, to the Republicans' credit, they stuck to the topic. They stuck to the topic, and they were criticizing her for her incompetence, and she continued to waste taxpayer money by trying to go to the Ninth Circuit.
Doesn't she have an expired license that she did not renew?
You don't have to be a lawyer to be in charge of the FTC.
Oh, okay.
Right. You don't need to have a lawyer license to be in charge of the FTC. So that's a non-issue. But they passed this. She went to the Ninth Circuit in San Francisco, in California, and they said no. And San Francisco and California are as liberal as fuck, and they said no to the request. And everybody from every political spectrum is saying that this is not anti-consumer, this is pro-consumer. What Sony was doing is anti-consumer, and all you need to do is just do a basic research on Google to know how many platforms Call of Duty will be on if Sony got their way. It would only be on 2 or 3 platforms.
You have to understand this is the home team. This is the home team in their own home field, their home arena,
the home state.
They're basically in their own room being told no.
Yeah, and
you're wrong.
Yeah, and they're not going to have much luck in New York. They're certainly not going to have much luck in a conservative state. But I mean, you have this whole thing where Xbox has shown that for 10 years, Call of Duty is going to be on 12 different platforms. And Sony just decided to sign the deal with Microsoft anyway to have Call of Duty for 10 years. They signed the deal.
It's just Call of Duty, apparently. They're not getting Activision titles. That's not on the deal. It's just Call of Duty.
Right, so they're not going to get Diablo.
So PlayStation shot themselves so hard in the foot thinking that they'll get a better deal. And apparently, Jim Ryan's terrible at chess.
Yeah, now Sony is not getting Overwatch. They're not getting Diablo Immortal. They're not getting Diablo 4. They're not getting the Diablo games. They're not getting they're not going to get World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft can actually come to a console, which is crazy.
Mind you, that's gonna boost the population on World of Warcraft in general.
It's gonna boost everything. It's just gonna boost
especially because look at Final Fantasy 14. It's an MMO that has a PC design for the UI and for the way it plays.
It's also on the PlayStation 4.
It's also on the PlayStation 4. Mind you, they also made a PlayStation 5 update to
they did PS5 as well.
generation. Now, if you can get a PC MMO on console to run effectively, you can get it like WoW or World of Warcraft to run on console too. But that's their problem. Now, before we drift any further, the fact that Microsoft has been approved to be able to acquire Activision Blizzard
and Sony signed the deal.
ABK.
So the FTC, whatever they're doing with their internal judge and everywhere else, it's kind of pointless now because Sony signed the contract. They signed it, so they're going to get Call of Duty for 10 years.
Yep. So mind you, it's not like the FTC has the ability to appeal again. They already made their appeal. It was denied. They went to the Supreme Court, the 9th District Court, and
they're looking for other options to keep wasting taxpayer money.
Yeah, I would advise, ladies and gentlemen, you call your representative, your whoever's in charge of your state represents you. Call them and tell them get rid of Lena Khan because she's just wasting your money.
Yeah, if I was Biden, I'd get rid of her because none of this is working out.
At this point, I don't know. But anyway, so the CMA is in discussion. They're in talks with Microsoft.
And it could happen either in 45 days or less.
45 days or less. Now, the ideal is that Microsoft wants to have this go through with the CMA on a negotiable manner, because if they were to just close out, it looks bad on their record.
Well, I also see the CMA realized that their position wasn't right, because
I don't know if they were told,
because they blocked the merger in the UK for based on a hypothetical because cloud gaming is super popular in the UK, and Microsoft was controlling the market. And now they're going to, well, they're now going to work on that, but now they're not only going to control that market. Mobile gaming, which actually no one is even talking about. Mobile gaming will be almost completely controlled by Microsoft because when they get Activision, they're going to get all those mobile games. So that is billions upon billions of dollars. All mobile gaming is basically coming to them.
So mobile gaming is a growing surge in popularity because.
But Activision has the most popular mobile game.
Being at home, you could be on a console and you're limited to your TV, but meanwhile you go step outside, you can play on your phone. Now Activision,
they can get hundreds of millions of dollars.
Activision owns King Games. King Games is the developer
of Activision Blizzard King.
Of a lot of mobile games, especially Candy Crush being your most successful, most popular.
And the fact that people aren't even talking about that in any of these courts is crazy. Because if Microsoft, when the deal most likely goes through, and Microsoft owns King and all those mobile games exclusively for them and for PC, Xbox, Game Pass, that is billions of dollars a month that they're going to be getting in.
Well, it's also money that will allow them to continue maintaining and turning a profit, as well as putting into development for the first-party studios for Game Pass exclusives and titles, as well as acquiring more games. Now, however, I do want to mention this.
And then it's a bigger market than Call of Duty.
I do want to mention this.
Call of Duty is a hugely popular franchise.
It's a popular franchise, but
mobile gaming.
It's not demanded. It's not in high.
But mobile gaming is bigger. Everybody plays mobile games. Your mother, your grandmother, everybody plays mobile games.
Your mother, your grandmother, they probably play Bubble Witch, Bubble Pop, Bubble whatever. Cat. What are those games? Cat games, something like that. Now,
Candy Crush.
You have your Diablo Immortal. You have
Apple.
You have your Activision. Activision Racing mobile game.
And if Apple decides to make a game console, then Sony has another competitor. Because Apple already has its own video games that they can just put on their console, and then get other publishers and first-party games.
Well, the only thing with Activision is, the only thing with
if Google did that.
Well, no, Google's incapable. They're only competent.
But they're doing it again. They're getting back in the cloud gaming again.
I don't know why.
So that's another reason why CMA also rolled back on things when the judge ruled in favor of Microsoft. CMA also rolled back because now their argument that they had back in May is pointless because Google is getting packed back into cloud gaming again.
And mind you,
so Microsoft is not going to be the only competitor in the UK.
No. Google, which has a foothold globally, is the world's leading search engine. The Google Play Store it's a duopoly. When it
but the
comes to
CMA's argument was that Microsoft was going to be the only one.
No,
but they're not going to be the only one by next year.
No,
they're not going to be the only one in 2 years.
The CMA was arguing on a outdated claim, really, because it's the best way I've come to learn about it is speaking with family members. It's you have a bunch of grandmas and grandpas in a position where they don't know anything about video games, let alone cartoons or anime, and they're just ruling off of what someone told them. That's really it. And the thing with mobile gaming is Microsoft is looking ahead. I can see this in a certain angle. Microsoft is looking ahead. Mobile gaming is going to become very popular. Consoles will end up becoming obsolete at a certain point in time because no one's going to want to stay home and play consoles when you can take it on the go and play it. PlayStation has a PlayStation Remote Play on your phone, your computer. Microsoft has Game Pass. I believe they're working on the app for the phone. And with Activision Blizzard King, it will help them even better. Now, as for future acquisitions, I'm not going to get into because those are what ifs, and those are not guaranteed or stated provided variables, let alone numbers that are existent. So it's not like you have 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. You're going to have a 1 + question mark = something that I don't want to do that. So what the thing is, though, when it comes to mobile gaming, Microsoft wants to be a competitor to the duopoly, and I can see them doing that with Game Pass and with a lot of the mobile games that they have. Will it be a guaranteed success? I would not be able to say, considering the fact that if they have to create a app store in which individuals are able to access, look through the games, look through the titles of catalog being available, there's probably going to have to be an app that is downloaded through the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store that somehow is excluded from the terms of having to pay a portion to Apple or Google. I will not speak further than that because I know nothing more than that. And I do not want to provide what ifs, let alone a variable possibilities. Now, the third thing we were going to discuss, it was the deadline. So,
October 18th.
Satya Nadella said 45 days, or was that Bobby Kotick?
Now, Bobby Kotick said the deal could go through in 45 days. The actual deadline is October 18th. But the deal could go through in 2 weeks. The deal could go through by August 29th. August 29th is technically the actual deadline. So around late August, that's when the merger should go through. And the FTC is just spinning its wheels.
Oh, I want to say this about the deadline extension. I think it's good for a few reasons because it allows the CMA to get whatever concessions they feel is necessary.
It's also October 18th. It's like a day after their quarterly announcement of results.
Yep.
Like they have their shareholder meetings by like early October, I think. So October 18th is pretty much a prime example. Once the deal goes through, and Activision wants this deal to go through, I was telling people there's no way they're just going to take the $3 billion payout and then just walk away because that $3 billion will be gone. Because if the deal falls apart, their stocks plummet and they go from being worth 69 billion to 75 billion down to like 63 billion. And that $3 billion payout would have been gone. Well, okay, the actual deal was 69 billion, but now since the stocks are going up, it's going to be 75 billion. And Microsoft is agreeing to a $75 billion payout.
I'm 69. No, that's not right. Stocks, Activision stocks have climbed.
No, but what I'm saying,
if you own a stock in Activision,
right,
you would really made some money.
Right, but what I'm saying is that if they had walked away from the deal and taken the $3 billion,
the stock would have cratered.
Yeah, it would have cratered. And so what I'm saying is that $3 billion check would have been non-existent by the end of the month. And so they were going to stick to the deal. And they were going to extend things and let the CMA rule in their favor in accordance to the law, and just let it go through the right way instead of just rushing through a deal. But also Microsoft, if the CMA still says no, Microsoft can still just push through the deal anyway. So there is because this acquisition has been approved in 40 countries, including North America. 40 countries have said yes.
Even South Africa.
40 countries, even South Africa said yes. Brazil said yes. Everybody said yes. And now America has said yes.
I'll be honest. I don't want to.
New Zealand is going to say yes. Australia said yes.
Oh, Australia.
Sweden said yes.
Thank God Australia said yes.
Sweden said yes. South Korea said yes. I don't know if Japan has said yes.
No, Japan said yes.
Japan said yes. Okay.
Japan did approve of it. Well, the moment,
and that's crazy too, because and that's crazy too, because
Congressman, the moment that Congress people were brought it up to Japan about how PlayStation has an unfair monopoly hold.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. When Microsoft started,
the Japanese Fair Trade Commission, so the JFTC, said, "We're gonna look at this. Go, it's good. Yes." I don't want to say it sarcastically. I know that they approved it.
Yeah,
when
Microsoft
that PlayStation was brought up, and that's why
when Microsoft started talking to their politicians in Congress to look at Japan and Sony and look at their books and look at the fact that Sony and PlayStation control about 95% of the gaming world in Japan, all over that country. Like almost no one has a real competition anymore except for Nintendo. But Nintendo even is like 5% at this point. And they used to be the number one company in Japan, and now it's really just Sony. Well,
when Nintendo has gained some market.
No. Nintendo is always going to be a force in Japan, but Sony is numero uno, and it's numero uno by a wide margin at 95%.
Well, I want to mention this.
So what I'm saying is,
why PlayStation is very popular is because there is a sense of
loyalty because they started in Japan.
They started in Japan. Now it's an American company.
Mostly, but still, they still got that fan base, and they still. But Sony also controls a lot of the mobile market and all of that as well. In Japan as well as cell phones. And mobile gaming.
Phones, they have mobile gaming in Japan. However,
mobile gaming is huge in Japan.
The West because in the West we have the sensitivity. The fact that the West is so damn sensitive over the fact that a fictional character of polygons has a way better rounded figure, body, has a good, is well endowed both front and back.
Tits.
And feminists are freaking out about this. It's just mind boggling.
Because of tits.
Maybe if feminists had some freaking swing moves that helped them out.
Tits. The fact that, credit to Activision, the fact that they had Megan Fox promoting Diablo 4, looking the way she looked, I was like, oh, wow, this is like 2002 all over again.
I know.
I was like, wow, this is a change of pace. We got hot Megan Fox, who's never played a video game in her life, promoting Diablo 4. I was almost tempted to buy the game just then.
I bought the game.
And she is there in the game talking about how shitty you are when you die. Like, it's so funny. It's so
Wait, no.
It's in the game.
No. I'm actually curious. The in-game shop.
Wait. Hold on.
No, the in-game shop saleswoman.
Yeah.
Is that Megan Fox's character based on the game?
I have no idea, but we'll get to that later. But I just in a little bit. But I just want to talk about this. So.
Go ahead.
But when Microsoft got their politicians to look into Sony, that is when Sony said the deal can go through, right? Yes. That's when Japan said the deal can go through. Because when Sony's books were about to get looked at by American politicians, and then people were like, well, these politicians are owned by Microsoft, so there's this obvious corruption. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with those politicians in America that are paid by Microsoft. They get very little money from Microsoft. Like Microsoft is like how much money do they get over the span of 30 years from Microsoft? That guy, like $50,000 over the span of 30 years. That guy got millions of dollars from Big Pharma in a shorter amount of time. So I'm like, okay, fine. But in terms of who's paying him, Microsoft is not his priority at all. So when this started happening, that's when Japan came out and said the deal can go through. And that's when America stopped looking into Sony in Japan, because Sony's monopoly in Japan is insane. It's crazy.
When I say that it's not entirely, and I don't want to say it's factually.
Why do you think Sony owns Funimation and Crunchyroll? Because they want to own anime as well.
And this is why
you can't do anything without Sony and anime.
This is why I respect High Dive. High Dive has acquired a number of anime titles.
They're going to get owned too.
Well, I'm hoping,
you know how small they are?
I'm hoping it's not by Sony. Maybe
they're going to get owned by Sony too.
I hope not.
I saw their booth at NYC Anime, New York Anime and NYC. Their booth is small. They're going to get owned. You saw Crunchyroll's booth? Crunchyroll's booth every year in Anime and NYC. It's the biggest booth. You never miss it. It's so huge. Funimation's booth is the second biggest booth. Here's, what's it called? High Dive? High Dive. There's this little fucking booth.
No, but
they're getting bought.
I hope they remain not owned by Sony, because Sony is...
Don't hold your breath.
I hold my breath all the time. I'm holding my breath right now.
Don't hold your breath. It's not going to happen.
Still holding it. They're
getting bought by Sony, or they're getting bought by Netflix, or they're getting bought by Amazon. And since they got a good relationship with Amazon, I wouldn't mind that buyout. That because Amazon needs a lot more anime. As much as I like Roxaphon, everybody knows that Roxaphon is a poor man's version of Neon Genesis Evangelion. It is a direct copy of Evangelion with dialogue for dialogue, shot for shot. The only difference is that Roxaphon has better production value, but nobody gives a fuck about it because, let's be honest, it's nowhere near as good as Neon Genesis Evangelion. And Netflix has Evangelion and Amazon has Evangelion Rebuild, but no one cares about Roxaphon. Okay, so Amazon needs an anime catalog because Netflix.
I wouldn't.
Amazon.
I wouldn't want Amazon to own it because one.
But they need anime.
The creative suck. Their directors suck. Their movie staff sucks.
No.
Look at what the fuck is that name? Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. That sucks.
Well, that sucked because they were stupid enough to pick the creatives. They do own some apps, maybe not own, but they own some things to where they allow the creatives to do what they want. What I'm saying is that
I'm concerned as censors. The censors are going to feel happy with the Western interpretation of a lot of things.
Oh, they can't fuck with Japan on that one. But they can buy a high dive just to get some of the catalog. Because let's face it, when it comes to anime for streaming services.
Well, now we're going off topic.
Well, hold on. I know we're going off topic. I just want to finish this one thought. When it comes to streaming services, Netflix is number one. It kicks everybody's ass. Sony only owns Crunchyroll and Funimation, which is great, but Netflix can get those animes too, and they do. They got Sailor Moon Crystal all over Netflix.
Thank God, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna binge that. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go binge Sailor Moon Crystal. Do they have season 2 as well?
They got all 3 seasons plus the new movies.
Okay.
And they got the new movies that came out. And the new movies that came out this year are going to be on Netflix as well.
Thank God Netflix is picking it up. Oh, thank God. Got to give Sony and Crunchyroll and Funimation a run for their money. Thank God Netflix. You're thinking right. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of this video because we're gonna end up going on.
Wait, what else? What else we need to talk about? Is there anything else we need to talk about?
Not for this video. It's the CMA, the deadline extension, and the acquisition.
All right, so we'll talk about more stuff next week.
Look forward to us then. We'll have a more congruent, detailed list of what we're doing step by step that we're not going to follow. Stay tuned for that. It's exciting to watch us not follow lists and rules.
All right, guys. This is Brian J's Nerd Talk. Live long and prosper.
This is Steve's Thoughts Nerd Talk. Have a good day.
Live long and prosper.
I don't want to go too far on.